Election day just 1 week away from today, and Democrats say they're still very much in this fight and will deliver major wins come election day. That, as Republicans tell us, the other party is not living in reality. Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders joining us live tonight from Tallahassee with the state of the race 1 week from election day. Forrest.
Yeah, Paul, we could talk about those swing states. We could talk about the national polling, but it's all over the place. So let's just focus on Florida for just a few minutes. And I think the big question going in to Tuesday night is going to be whether or not Republicans deliver on all of these big wins that they're expecting, or if they see some big upsets. With every ballot cast and every second gone, Florida gets closer to knowing its political fate. That's as the state's GOP says it's feeling GOOD.
I think we're going to win in Florida. I think President Trump's probably going to win by 7 or 8 points. If the turnout continues, it could be larger.
Chair of the Florida Republicans, Evan Power, thinks everything is on course for a historic victory up and down the ballot. President, Senate, House, even preserving one or both of the supermajorities in the legislature. Turnout of the Republican voter registration advantage has been the big goal.
I think we're in a great spot. If you look at what we've done, we narrowed the Democrats' vote by mail lead in half. And then now that early voting is kicking off, we're dominating performance there. And we're probably going to finish today plus 12 in Republican turnout. We're happy with where we are.
The GOP continues to lead in early vote totals, outpacing Democrats in ballots cast, even in places like Miami-Dade County. That's as recent polling shows Trump ahead with potentially historic margins, +9 in the latest from FAU. So why is Florida Democrats Chair Nikki Fried smiling?
You seem really confident.
Yeah, I do.
She says there are several reasons. National polling, even one here in Florida, suggests early voters are breaking for Harris, despite party affiliations. Fried believing there's a silent Republican vote for Dems.
We're seeing a lot of women kind of walking in a little bit further ahead of their husbands or a little bit behind, coming up to our people and saying, you know, thumbs up. We're seeing those types of stories all over the state of Florida and all over the country. And so I'm anticipating, if at the very minimum, 5 to 10%.
The chair also says Dems are just starting to show up. Their super voters who reliably turn out haven't yet.
We've got over 3 million really strong, consistent Democratic voters that have yet to vote, and we're going out and chasing them, and the Republicans have no ground operation.
And mix that with the still simmering joke controversy following Sunday's Trump rally.
Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Political experts told us this week it's at the very least become a distraction for Trump in the final week, and at worst, potentially damaging. Puerto Ricans a key voting bloc with more than 1.1 million calling Florida home. Okay, so let's summarize things for Democrats very simply. What is Tuesday night going to be all about for them? Beating expectations. So maybe flipping a congressional seat, maybe knocking down one or both of those supermajorities, and quite possibly, given how tight some of the polling has become, taking that U.S. Senate seat. Very coveted. Still, the presidential, it's looking pretty far out there, but we'll have to see what happens. Paul?
Yeah, Democratic Party trying to get back in the game in Florida. Meanwhile, Forrest, Governor DeSantis giving the hard sell on his anti-marijuana campaign. Today, the governor held another one of those events, but it appears when he goes on these things, he's preaching to the choir. I'm just wondering, who's he trying to reach in these final days, especially since people are already voting? You would think perhaps they've already made up their mind.
I'll tell you who he's trying to reach. Anybody with a pulse and anybody who can vote in the state of Florida. I mean, that's really what this is all about in the final 7 days, is just getting people to turn out. A lot of people have probably made up their mind, but now they have to decide whether or not they're actually going to get off the couch and go out and vote. And so that is what this is all about, reminding them what's at stake, reminding them who's supporting what and why, and making sure that every possible vote is counted. And that is true for not just the supporters of Amendment 3, but the opponents, and the same goes for Amendment 4. I mean, that's what this is all going to be about. Try and make sure that people get out there and vote, because a lot of people have made up their minds, although there are still some out there who maybe are on the fence. And that's what this is all about. Get in front of them, make a case,
Yeah.
get them to vote.
Well, 1 week from tonight, and in about an hour and a half, the polls will be closed, and a lot of these questions will be answered for Saunders. Thank you, sir, reporting live from Tallahassee. We'll